Hello, everybody. This is Steve Yoder. Welcome to week 4 in Legal Studies 457, 557 here in the spring of 2023 at the UAB Collat School of Business. This week we are covering a number of topics that could well be at the core of your practices as accountants or CPAs. Get that list there. But here is the answer to last week's extra credit question, which counted as 2 points if you gave me the correct answer, 2 points added to your first exam. President Biden relied on the Federal Trade Commission Act to propose a rule that would ban non-compete clauses. Those clauses are very common in the business world today. And that law, the Federal Trade Commission Act, has been around to promote competition since 1914. The first exam did close on Sunday night, April 2nd at 11:59 p.m., and I'll have a separate announcement about the results of that. Here is Module 2, which we are starting today, April 3rd. There are 3 sets of learning activities. The first set, sales and leases of goods and banking. If you clicked on that, you would see that there are 4 chapters of the textbook and 2 sets of class slides. And remember that those class slides, those PowerPoint slides, I call them class slides to simulate what we would do in a class. Those slides distill down the textbook, which is admittedly a lot of words, to the things that are going to be on the exam. And there is a video as well. Chapter 19 starts our look at the Uniform Commercial Code, and in particular, we're going to look at Article 2, Goods, the sale of goods. There is an Article 2A that covers the leasing of goods, like automobiles. You'll recall this graphic. Last week, we covered general contract law that covers contracts for the sale of real estate and other non-goods such as services. We're still going to be using the same checklist to see if we have an enforceable contract when we look at sales of goods. But there are some modifications, and they are summarized here. The general outlook is that since there are so many more transactions in goods, that we have to make the law less onerous. Here's your extra credit question for this week for 2 points added to your second exam. That should be by April 9, 2023 at 11:59 p.m. Tell me the name of the very well-known clothing company that is engaged in the sale of goods that was fined by the SEC for taking an incorrect using an incorrect definition of the word sale when they presented their financial results. Chapter 20 covers the inevitable risk of loss when goods are made and shipped and sold. Bad things happen, and this part of the UCC, Uniform Commercial Code, covers how those are handled. The PowerPoint slides have a great many practice questions, and here is one of them on risk of loss. The correct answer here is C. There's a video by me at the Regions Corporation Operations Center illustrating the risk of loss. Chapter 21 covers a very important concept in the UCC, implied warranties. For the first time, when the UCC was adopted in all 50 states, the concept of a warranty that was implied, in other words, did not have to be written into the contract, was introduced, and we'll be looking at that. Just as with contracts for the sale of services and real estate, the UCC covers for goods the concept of remedies for the sale of goods, and those remedies depend upon where the goods are when the breach occurs. Are they at the factory being made? Are they on the truck being delivered? Or are they at the store ready to be sold? Then we're going to move on to Chapter 24, Banking Law, and we're going to read material that will help us all understand the basics of checks and how checks are processed. Then we will move on to Chapter 25, which covers security interests and creditors' rights. This is the law of lenders, and many of you will represent lenders or will represent borrowers, because we all borrow, and many of us lend as well. Many lenders seek to secure themselves. They want something more than the word of the borrower that they will pay the lender back. And many lenders require collateral. Here's a cartoon written by someone who I happen to know, who I went to high school and college with, and you can read that, but you can see that he also wrote a cartoon for our 50th high school reunion in 2022. When a lender wants to be secured, the lender will enter into a security agreement, setting forth exactly how that will happen. Maybe it's just taking some collateral. Sometimes they rely on liens that are written into the law and they don't need the agreement. But many times they do need a separate agreement, and sometimes they will ask a third party to step in to act as either a guarantor or a surety, and your understanding the difference between those two concepts will be on the exam. Then we will move on to bankruptcy in Chapter 26. The bankruptcy code is often spoken of depending upon the chapter that's covered. Chapter 7 is the going out of business chapter, the liquidation of all debts. If you as an individual want to use the bankruptcy law, it is now more difficult than it was before. For example, will require that you go through additional steps if you have an income higher than these income levels for the number of people in your family. The goal of bankruptcy is to have your debt discharged or reduced. There are several exceptions for when the bankruptcy code will not work. One is when you owe money to the IRS. Student loans are very difficult to discharge. Congress wrote into the law that there has to be undue hardship to the student or to the former student. And the result is that only 300 of 250,000 student loan borrowers who have sought protection under the bankruptcy code against repayment of their student loans have ever been successful. The Biden administration, once again looking out for student borrowers, has said that should be easier, and they have proposed a program to do that. Many businesses stay in business even after they go through bankruptcy. They get their loans reduced. Many airlines, most airlines have done that over the last 30, 40 years, and your textbook publisher did it as well. Finally, here is the calendar for the action-packed month of April 2023 in this course. Today is the 3rd. Note the things that are coming up. The second exam opens on the 13th of April, and the day before that, the CPA client simulations are due, and every single student in the class has a CPA client simulation due at that time. That second exam will close on Sunday night, April 16, along with certain other quizzes, and then we have a little less than 2 weeks to get everything else done, including the third exam that will be due on the last day of the course, which is Friday, April 28 at 11:59 p.m.